You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the September 11th meeting of the Michigan City Common Council Workshop. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
To the workshop here, being put on for number one ESG to come, and this is Terry Skalkoff from ESG, the representative that has been in touch with me and Tim, and we just wanted to have him come to town, which he said no problem. He was coming to town, and he's going to explain the contract. Okay, he's going to explain the reports that they send to Michigan City, and any questions whatsoever that anyone from the city council has on this contract. No, I'm just saying, because the city council is the body that signed on to this contract for the city. Okay, and Angie wasn't on the mayor wasn't on the council at that time. Myself and Councilman Dabney, I believe, were on the council at that time. But either way, I know there's been a lot of questions, a lot of discussion. What is this contract all about? So here's your opportunity as city council members to ask Terry anything about this contract, and we're going to take it from there. So Terry's number one, he's going to start with the PowerPoint presentation, and then he'll get into Q&A and any other information we may want. And I know the mayor has a few questions, and yeah, he's ready to answer any questions that we have. So Terry, it's all yours.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So, yes, I'm Terry Stucklosa from Energy Systems Group. Happy to be here. Thank you for this opportunity. We really appreciate it. So on behalf of Energy Systems Group, let me, even though I wasn't a part of this group at that time, let me thank you very much for the fact that you placed the faith in us for the project that we embarked on together here. So I was, as Don had described, we wanted to go over your specific M&D report. We want to cover that. We also, for the sake of just reference, right, just talk about real quick. We're not going to bore you with the 60 slides that I have here. We're only going to do about 50 of them. I'll fly through, I'm just kidding. I've got a few, but I just want to make reference to them. Most important thing is to get through that, just to show you pictorial, but really have some dialogue, answer any questions that you guys have, right? And if I don't have an answer, which I'm going to be the first one to say, if I don't have it, I'm not the answer man. I'll write it down and get it back to you like tomorrow. So let's dive into that real quick. So really quick about us. So we've been around for 30 years since legislation was even started here in the Midwest. And so ESG has been around for a long time doing this kind of project. Local, they're headquartered down in Indiana and have a large presence here within the Midwest and around the country. Large company, but not as large as some of the players, but we've got over $5 billion in kinds of projects that you guys did here. I think what's really important to point out is that over $1 billion of that is actually from clients coming back for multiple phases. Because as Don and I talked about a little bit earlier, what happens in these kind of projects is we typically identify far more than just affordable, right? And then it's about prioritizing and implementing when the finances make the most sense for the particular clients. So here's a quick representation of the slide of some of the states around us, but what really matters here obviously is the second one in, right? Where we're headed is Indiana. But this just shows you on each one of the states, what are the vertical markets that we've done, because it's not just state and local. We do a lot of K-12 obviously, and then healthcare, federal government. But let's jump to Indiana, and you guys are obviously right up there in number 83. Thank you very much again. We're very humbled to be a partner of Michigan City. And just in the state and local government, just about $100 million of stuff, more relative to state and local government in the state of Indiana. And stop me, if you got any questions, I'll let you get through the whole thing. But I'll get through this and we can talk about your project. So for those of you that were not around, right, what you guys did was something called Energy Savings Performance Contract. A big mouthful, and it really is, I commend you guys for doing it. I've been in this industry for 25 years. 6 of those years I had my own company, owner's rep in Illinois. And, but I still utilize performance contracting on behalf of my clients because I was such a proponent of it when it comes to renovation. Not necessarily new construction, right? But renovation is challenging. I think anybody in here that's done any kind of, even a home plumbing job or something like that, let alone 25 or $150 million project, you can imagine the kind of change orders that can be, that there's a potential for change orders. So the model that you guys use eliminated all of that risk and it transferred it to Energy Systems Group. So we own 100% of the risk and you guys experienced 0 change orders. But I think it's a little bit over $4 million project with us. So I commend you guys for taking that approach. I really do. I would, as I told Don, I humbly and honestly, if whether I was a superintendent of a school district, county administrator, or city council, this is the only way I would do renovation work. Absolutely, bar none. After what I've seen in the industry for over 25 years. So it is very easy to do it, and you're in the driver's seat with this procurement method because it's not low bid driven, it's quality based driven. So you guys are able to work with us on selecting approved vendors, for example, without having to work with a low bid. So there's that we have, and we also look at leverage savings, which is what we're going to get into with your project. And 2 of the savings, obviously, are going to be energy, and then the other is going to be capital, operational savings, forgive me. And energy savings are, for example, light, okay? So that's called that true energy savings. Operational are those that now you're not going to pay. For example, if you replace a roof that's leaking, like I said, right, not only are you not going to have to pay any labor or material for that, so that's what's called the operational savings. So that's that category. And that can be applied to a lot of scopes, right? For a parking lot that needs constant repairing, and windows that have air infiltration. So HVAC that has common or constant maintenance. So HVAC would have energy and operational savings. So that's where the operational savings come in. And then the collaborative design. So it's more of a design build, right? Because we work with you, we work with our clients each and every time to build and design the project. We don't spec bid anything, right? So you guys are able to, and that I think is again the best approach because a lot of things change on the fly, especially when it comes to renovation. All those things that are unknown. We don't know what's up there. We don't know what's behind that wall, right? A lot of times. So again, I commend you guys for utilizing the procurement tool first and foremost. The construction management that we implement as a part of our, I'll just call it ESPC so I can stop talking a little bit sooner, is Energy Savings Performance Contracting, is that we have a full-time on-site project manager and a supervisor. So he is here, he or she is here each and every day or when it's warranted for any various scope items. Mm-hmm. So we're not chasing our tail at a Monday morning meeting wondering what happened. So we'll already know because we'll have somebody here full-time. And then, of course, what we're here to talk about today is the performance guarantee. So we not only just do a punch list and then shake your hands and say thank you for the construction and walk on and do the next strip mall. We actually come back year after year, and this is year 4. We have 15, we have 20-year commitments that we keep going out to these customers year in and year out. So that's a tremendous relationship, I think, in the sense that it's guaranteed and we meet and exceed those savings each and every time. So that in and of itself, I think, is another a huge factor to you guys for utilizing this procurement versus the spec bid approach where you can get caught with all sorts of change orders. This just more illustrates what's going on. I mean, very simply put, whoever this might be, in this case Michigan City, could be the city down the street, could be a large school district. These are all the moving pieces, and anybody in construction realizes that is a terrible thing to juggle. So that for each scope item, depending on if you go spec bid, you've got bid documents, specs, and then you've got multiple bids to review, and then you've got when they get mobilized. It's just it can be a tremendous nightmare. And all that goes away when you have this ESPC approach. So the fun stuff is, these are some of the items that we sort of focus on. There's a whole gamut. But for you guys in cities, something that we're doing a lot of is called microgrids and resiliency as a service, or they're calling it energy as a service nowadays for cities. A lot of EV charging and things like that, cogen plants. Those are some big, fun, exciting projects for cities, especially with the IRA funding, because there's anywhere from a 30 to a 50% direct pay now for people like you, non-tax paying entities, which didn't exist before. So that makes all those projects feasible now versus 2 years ago when it just wasn't. Geothermal, although it was being done and implemented and we were doing it, it just didn't make a lot of financial sense at the end of the day. But now, when you get 30 to 50% federal funding, then those projects are either at par or better than the traditional like-for-like boiler chiller replacement, rooftop unit. So rather than using the traditional stuff and taking advantage of the federal grants, we're implementing a lot more of those microgrids and combined heat power plants.
So can I ask a
Yes,
question?
ma'am, please do,
So,
please do.
are you saying that even into the future, we still can identify additional opportunities?
Yeah, you're taking the words out of my mouth. So that's what I was gonna leave you with, is just to say that this is what we do. So how our approach works, I mean, I sort of flew by it, probably didn't spend enough time, and shame on me. So what happens is, we come out and work with cities, right? We'll do a preliminary assessment, right? And sit down with the engineering or your key stakeholders, identify what are the obvious pains or sores or needs, right? And we'll have a team of engineers, we'll have that high-level conversation, but that's when we really start talking to you guys. And then your constituents will be telling you at your board meetings, what do you guys do? Well, they're probably hitting you guys up from different angles. Are you doing anything for EVs? And what are you guys doing to be sustained? I'm just talking.
Right, but I was just wondering, was that a one-time deal up front when you did the evaluation? And the reason why
Yeah,
I'm asking that is because now, we're on the hook for 20 years, and what if there are other opportunities? And like, for instance, I don't know if we did anything with the roof, but we've been paying for maintenance on our roof for years.
Yeah.
But now we had the hailstorm, and it really took our roof out. But was that something that was on the original thing? I don't know.
Yeah.
So my question is, like, with changes in grants and rules and regulations, are you saying that there are cost savings that you still can identify now after we've been in this for 5 years?
so it would, but it'd be a totally different project.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so
Okay.
thank you for asking, because there probably still are a lot of ample opportunities out there, and it would be that preliminary assessment to go out and take a look. If you guys have any interest in more solar or any geothermal, or if you want to look at battery backup and generators and look at a little mini microgrid or something like that, then we'd absolutely be thrilled to look at that for you guys. So, and we obviously do a lot of federal work. We're working at the Pentagon doing a lighting project there. But thank you for stopping me and asking that question. I appreciate that. So now, most importantly, is what the partnership that we have with you guys, and we're year 4, as the mayor just said, and these are the number of buildings. So this really accentuates, in my humble opinion, again, how valuable the procurement model is in of itself. So you have multiple building locations and multiple scopes of work happening in each one of these. So in any position or any condition there, or a situation, you could have multiple finger pointing or opportunities for finger pointing. In this case, you had one project manager from ESG each and every Monday morning construction meeting for all of those scopes of work. So there was, I would venture to say, 0 headaches on your part. There are no headaches when you transfer 100% of the risk to someone like ESG. So that was all the scopes of work. You guys signed it or started the project in 2018. And those are the ECMs, or if you will, energy conservation measures. by scope, and then it gets into the detail about the savings. So where we're at is, we guaranteed 274 in year 4, but we actually measured 282, so there's another surplus, which is, it's always a good thing. Here we are, total, after year 4 is 1.2 million total savings in year 4, cumulative. I don't know if we want to dive into this, but this really says, for things that we can measure, like lighting, right? So that's what they call option B. I don't want to get into the weeds, but if you want, I can get into more detail, but typically, these things are a lot easier to measure because there's less kilowatts consumed, for example, right? So it's easier to measure. Agreed upon are those operational savings that go away after you do the improvements. So that's what the scopes of work right here are identified on what the M&B option that you guys are using here at Michigan City. This, again, is just more detail on your scopes of work and at each facility. And that's all I have on this, although I would say a couple things. You guys roughly are spending about $7,000, I think, roughly for this M&B report.
Yeah, on an annual basis.
Yeah. So now one thing that I don't want to put one up here, in the Word document, which is your, the report itself, is we called out, in particular, a lot of the other stuff's not going to change. So a lot of our clients, honestly, would say, you know, we just don't need it or want the savings anymore. I mean, the measurement anymore. So we'll save the seven grand or something. And then it's a cost escalation, so it'll go up like a 3% each and every year. So it's entirely up to the clients. And a lot of the clients, 95% of the clients say, yeah, we're done. You've met, exceeded them. We're not going to change our circumstances, so why would we keep measuring? Let's take that money and apply it somewhere else. It's entirely up to you. So, like I mentioned, federal government, by law, they're obligated to do it. So we go back every year for 20 years, but so it's required. Other entities, healthcare, K-12, other cities, counties, you know, after 3, 4, 5 years, they say, okay, just, you know, we don't even need to measure anymore because our circumstances aren't going to change. So why pay that money? What we would talk about, and I would call attention to, is the report identified a couple of your solar panels not being online, two inverters specifically, and it was at
So that was gonna be my question, was gonna be like milestones and, you know, who is responsible, I guess, is the question, because there's been changes in the last 6 years, you know, when it started to when it started until now.
Yeah.
And so I think there were some milestones and some different projects that never got completed. And I'm trying to make sure we all understand, you know, what those are, because we got a lot of new people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if we go back to the original, because like you said, you show measured savings, which again, should be impacted by our utility bills, and then non-measured operational.
Right.
And I think the disconnect for us is trying to understand the projects that were completed, the ones that didn't get completed, that were paid for. Because there were some that we know never got implemented, and we just want to make sure that if there's an opportunity for us to do so, that we figure that out. But right now, I'm kind of blind. Right and blind on it.
Yeah, so first and foremost, if there's any scope items outstanding, so what I would do, or what I'm making note immediately, is to go to the closeout. There's a big closeout document that we create for each one of our projects, so I will make note to do that. and then meet with my engineers, because if, I can't believe that they left anything open.
No, I think it might be on our end.
Oh.
And I just want to make sure that there's something in closeout that we didn't complete.
Yeah,
Yeah, we were talking about that right, the GPS system? on-
Yeah, some other.
That was
you know,
never,
Yeah,
implemented. Yeah, and we had talked about that
so
prior to the
maybe,
meeting, so
Yeah.
that's the information we gotta get to see
absolutely, it could have been.
why it wasn't done. I dropped the ball.
Yeah,
Right,
and
right, right.
really just
Right,
look at the list, yeah, and just make sure there's nothing else that's an outlier.
Yeah. So that's easy, easy, I can just get that, access to that document and then circle back with you guys. We'll go through it, because I'm gonna absolutely assume that there's gonna be notes. If, in case there, or in fact, there was something that was not done, right?
Right,
I would hope and wanna see in that report that, Michigan City signed off that they wanted the scope item removed, and we therefore adjusted the overall project cost. That's what I've got to assume.
and I wonder if, when you have changes in administrations and all that, it can fall through the cracks, and now we're
Yeah.
on the hook for something that we're not getting
No,
the savings from.
I couldn't agree more. So if there's a scope of work that we owe you, well, first off, shame on, I can't see that happen. I've never had that happen to me, but I will definitely follow up. And as I was telling Don, coincidentally, one of the engineers that had worked on this project is still there, familiar with the project, so I can access that report, and we can dissect that, down to the, nth degree and find out, we'll look specifically, I guess, at fleet management, right?
Yeah.
And anything else.
Yeah,
for that
and then, I didn't want to get off track, but
Yeah.
just like you're getting ready to say
Mhm.
about the solar, two panels being off,
Yeah.
offline, who would know that?
Right, so what had happened, I'm sorry,
I would guess those solar panels are on the police station roof and the senior center roof.
yeah, they are inverters. All right, so senior center fire station, and you've got
Yeah.
inverter number 4 and inverter number 2. So you guys should see that from a monitor or something, I'm assuming, on site, right? And then we can see it, but only remote, that's all we can do, we can't do anything else. So to further your point, what I would say, or what our team had strongly suggested, right, is to just, when we're just talking out loud, take this M&B cost, which year after year is not gonna sink, it's just gonna be the same because your circumstances are not changing, right? If anything, your energy's gonna go up and there'll be a little bit more savings, but you're not changing the scope, you're not reconstructing anything, so it's really gonna be the same, right? So that's why a lot of customers just discontinue altogether. I would take that money that you are obligated, right? So you're obligated for those reports, but if you cancel, take that money and you spend it for solar, right? Monitor and maintenance. So I don't know what, just talking out loud, $7,000, I don't know what it's gonna be able to get, but I'm sure it can monitor. As far as maintenance, I don't know.
But you're
right?
monitoring it now, right?
They're doing it to a certain degree, but they're not doing that kind of detailed monitoring.
But you know that they're offline, and did they notify
They-
somebody that they were offline?
Yeah, I think, so there I'm gonna have to plead the fifth, just because I did talk to one of the M&V guys, and he said that he had reached out, but didn't get a reply. I don't know, so I don't wanna, call it out and not know the details on it. But that's all he said was, that's all he could see. Couldn't see why, he couldn't see any reasons, he could just see that they're offline. But I would, and if you like, we can obviously do that too for you. We could look at what would it cost to, to propose that ongoing monitoring and maintenance, because that's really, I think, I'm just assuming here, right? Maybe at the start, everybody thought, well, it's a brand new system, we're not gonna need any kind of maintenance or monitoring going forward, but it's 4 years old, things happen, hailstorms come through, any one of a million things, so, if you like, I'd be happy to meet with the engineering, and we come back with a proposal for that. That would be one action item. The second, first, I should backtrack, first would be get a hold of the closeout document and spend some time going with the engineers to find out exactly, cross-reference with the scopes of work that we had in the agreement to the closeout, and if there's any difference and why. Happy to do that, yeah. Yes, sir.
I am new to this, so
Okay.
this is all like Greek and Latin to me.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask some
Yeah.
basic questions.
Yeah.
So this started in 2018,
Mhm.
and the project was for 4 years.
No, the project was completed, I think it took them, it typically takes, a year, 18 months, something like that. So we were done in less than 2 years with the work.
With the work.
Yeah, and then, now this is just coming back and remeasuring. That's all it is.
You're just monitoring your work, what was done, and whether it is still resulting in energy savings for us or not. Is that-
Yeah, and it's relatively, I mean, so 7,000, it's not a lot of money, right? So that's engineering time to go through some calculations on what your energy bills are and what the kilowatts were reduced by replacing lighting fixtures and stuff like that. So that's what that's paying for. And that's why a lot of people say, well, nothing's gonna change, so why keep doing it?
The other question
Right.
is, whom do you work with in the city to see whether what you have done is still working or not? Like, is there any person in the city whom you work with, or does your company work with?
Yeah, so no, once we install it, right, we're like, I hate to say we're not like any other contractor, but once the construction project's done, you know, it's on, and all the onus is on you guys, not the owner, right?
Who is,
So,
on our side, who is monitoring?
yeah, yeah. Now, I would say,
Nobody was.
now here's the thing, so roofing, depending on the scope of work, so for example, roofing.
Okay.
I don't know in detail, and I apologize, what roofing went on, right? But as a part of that roofing, the closeout document that I mentioned earlier, within that document, any warranties are gonna be in there. So although we're not liable, we are more than happy and do it all the time for our clients, and we're happy to be doing it for you guys as well, is to follow up on your behalf. So if, I'm just talking a lot because I don't know, without looking at the document, I can't say, but for example, we've got clients that have a 20-year warranty on a roof. We'll, on the customer's behalf, actually go out and say, hey, you know, you've got to come back and fix a leak at this roof that you did, or something like that, so.
So my question
Yes.
is, your work is done, you're already paid, you've been paid for your work,
Yes.
and this is only a contract, like a maintenance contract that you come once a year to see whether everything is working okay or not, and the $7,000 is to just look at it and give a report to us. Is that what this is all about?
Yeah, we don't look at anything. We're just looking at your utility, that's it. So we don't
Yeah.
come out, we don't come on site.
It's an analysis, basically, and,
It's,
but ESG, as I said last night, and I'll say again on Friday, we paid a fee, we paid almost $500,000 for the work that was already done every single year. So we're paying into the future for the work that was completed, for the savings. I don't know if we're buying down the savings.
Are we still paying, or is it
Oh,
paid?
yeah, we got about 16 more years.
yeah, so cities, state and county, they're all the same in respect to how they finance the projects, right? Whether it's $5 million or $150 million, right? It's can be any combination of cash plus loan, and then it really comes down to each and every particular situation. Every project is completely different with respect to what is the city's financial position, and then more importantly, I'm sure your financier, your finance advisor sat down and you guys were intimate about what is the best long-term loan structure for you. So you could have went out for 5-year, 10-year, I don't know, financing, I have no idea what you guys did, but that's when you guys would be making decisions on information that's presented to you from financial advisors to say, Michigan City, here's a 10-year loan package, here's a 15-year loan package, based on the project that you are about to implement.
What was the total cost of the project?
I think you guys were just over $4 million. I'm pretty sure, like $4,100,000.
And we,
don't quote that.
Yeah.
Don't quote that.
We'll get the final closeout.
The contract is available here in City Hall,
Yeah, we'll get it.
and the controller has it. And they know exactly how much we paid, what the payback is, and the payback schedule, and the amount of savings that we were supposed to get back in return. I want to say the amount of savings over, I don't know, it's 18-year period, whatever that payback period, there was some in the neighborhood of $1.5 to $2 million is what our savings was going to be generated.
That's where you're at right now, at year 4. You're at 1,200,000 at year 4 cumulative. So I think you're gonna be at
Well, then we're
5.
way ahead of schedule.
Yeah, well, you're gonna be at 5 million at the end of term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, do you know which projects were not completed or potentially not completed?
I don't, I
So,
have no idea.
I don't-
This is, like I said, this is
yeah,
pre all of us, even pre
Yeah.
on the council. So, I mean, so I'm just hearing bits and pieces here and there, but I just rather see the closeout document
Yeah.
to make sure that everything is satisfied, and if it was like, well, you guys have to do that, then, you know, some of those people are still here
yeah,
that
no, I'm
should
happy to
have
do it.
closed it out,
Sometimes
right?
this happens,
It's
you're
your
not,
department,
Yeah.
you know, they were
you're
here.
not on like a school district or healthcare, I mean, any administrative turnover, things happen.
Yeah.
So I know that you guys would have been left a big, huge binder. That would be the hard copy of that closeout. If you have it, great. If not, no big deal.
Okay.
And then we've given you a couple electronic copies. We have them all on file, electronic and hard copy as well. So I'm happy to look at.
Yeah.
So don't worry, everybody who's digging for it. It could be anywhere, like you said. Yes, sir.
Based on this, year 4, the amount of savings we have had is $1.2
Yes.
million. And this will keep accumulating till how many years?
Well, so I think you guys are on an 18-year term.
18 years.
Right. So the savings are
If this trend were to continue, total savings
over $5 million.
over $5 million. And what was our initial investment?
The initial investment was the $4,100,000.
Okay.
That was the initial project, that's what you guys actually paid us.
Okay.
And then as far as the loan, that's when Don was saying you've got some other paperwork here.
So total cost was 4 million
Yeah.
or 4 million plus the loan that was taken?
And like I said, doctor,
Yeah.
don't
Yeah,
quote that,
Okay.
okay? I'm just saying, that's what the number people are saying. I got the contract at home, I can give it to the mayor. I give her, and I think that every council member should get a copy of the contract, and they have it, and they can read it at their leisure, so they know exactly what this is all about. 'Cause it's not going anywhere
Correct. The other question I
anytime
have is,
soon.
with other entities that you work with,
yes.
for these 16 years, do you go every year and do an analysis like this?
Yeah.
And the cost of doing that analysis is $7,000
So, good, that's a very good question, right? So, it's all relative to the size and complexity of the project. A $1 million project, we probably wouldn't even measure and verify for a bunch of different reasons. It's not really doesn't warrant it, and the customer doesn't want it. So we will just stipulate it or agree to it and then be done, right? And then we've had some 7-figure projects where you got $100 million of savings, so you come out and you measure very closely, every single year, right? That could be a couple $100,000 each and every year. And then there's everything in between. And so you guys are right here about a $4 or $5 million project. And you've already been verified 4 years. Nothing in that scope of work that was implemented is changing, that's what we're suggesting. Don't pay if you don't want to pay. I mean, just take that money, apply it towards a maintenance program for solar. Excuse me, just talking out loud, but you guys can do whatever you want. We're happy to do it every year. I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
The roofing improvements, was that basically improving the insulation of the roof and radiant energy reflection?
Yeah, it was. That's a good point, because that's where they're claiming the energy versus operational on the roof. They might have cleared some operation, but there is energy based on insulation. You're exactly right. Yes, ma'am.
I'm wondering, you have 2 columns here, non-measured energy savings and non-measured operational savings. How do you calculate those?
So, let me,
It's on the year 4 savings document.
yeah. So, all right. Oh, non-measured, okay.
Page 18.
Yep, No.
It's a table.
Yeah. Oh, you're in the PowerPoint?
It's the one that's very, yeah, I'm in the PowerPoint, it's the one from the very end.
Okay. Okay. So you're talking about the column two from the left, from the end, from the right side?
Yeah, the
Okay.
non-measured columns,
Yeah, so non-measured energy is gonna be, lighting, yeah, that's a good question. So non-measured energy versus non-measured operation. Let me find out. It's below non-measured. Oh, okay. That, that's all, they're just diving into the quote-unquote literally non-measured, that's all it is. I don't wanna overthink it, so they're not coming back, because you had the question originally, are you coming back out and measuring and looking at this stuff? We're literally running numbers based on calculations, so that's why they're saying non-measured. I'm sorry.
it doesn't make sense to me.
So non-measured would be that we come out, so we're just talking about those different M&V plans where we actually come out and physically measure, physically inspect, and we do it up to a great level of degree.
These
So
basically are guesstimates then.
they're guesstimates based on engineered ASHRAE accepted calculations, so there's no guesstimates, no. So, to that point, it's lighting, right? We know that by changing fixtures, you're gonna consume X amount less kilowatts. We don't need to measure those savings going forward.
But that's in the first column, the lighting, it's in the
Yeah.
first column there.
Right, non-measured, yeah.
No, it's in the first column, it's a measured. Lighting in the first column, it's there.
Oh.
There's no measure. So we have non-measured. Yeah, we just said non-measured.
No, it does say measured savings, the
It says-
lighting. The bar across the top says measures.
This is a combination of the energy and operational.
Yeah, if you could get back with us
What?
with non-measured need, I greatly
I
appreciate it.
can get some different clarification.
Thank you.
I'm happy to do so.
Yeah, you look at page 15,
Okay.
so you think you have page 18 up there.
All right.
There, option A lighting,
Yeah,
measured savings.
yeah.
That's what we're referencing.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. And non-measured.
And that's the solar.
Non-measured items, part of the operation, I have to change LED bulbs as well.
So the non-measured operational is all of the ongoing maintenance that's avoided. And then I will dive into, well, all right, so I'll get a clearer clarification, but the measured savings is a kilowatts. The non-measured operational for lighting is a maintenance that's no longer required to replace those or repair those.
So can I ask another
Yes.
question? So
No, that's it. I gotta go.
what decisions does the city council have to make going into the future, whether we need to continue the
That's a good
service or not?
Yeah, so what I would propose, if you guys are okay with it, number one, I've got a couple actions items. It should get a hold of the closeout document and find out, really dive into it to find out what happened. If there was any scope that was not done, there better be diligent notes there on our part to say, hey, if it wasn't done, then the customer agreed to take it out. Or it wasn't done because they chose not to. And I'm only talking out loud, so that's the first action I have.
Okay.
And I'll do that and then meet with the engineering team and then, come back to you guys and communicate, when I come back and talk to you about that. But then I'll also, look into, more importantly or equally important is like as those solar panels are getting aged, it would be really beneficial to look at a monitoring and maintenance program. You don't have to do it with us, but I can come back with a proposal, and if you want to look at it, that's fine. So I've got at least two, and then I can dive into a better description of measured, non-measured. So I got a few action items.
So this says that the non-measured is kind of what you said earlier, but it's based on estimated energy savings
Yeah.
using models that are calibrated with past energy usage data.
Yeah. So to that point, when we start every project, we establish a baseline, meaning what energy is being consumed for the scopes of work that you guys are going to implement. So the lighting, for example, what are you paying for this room to be lit up, right? But I know it's a bigger scope of work. So that's the baseline. If you replace the wattage, the different fixtures, then you're paying a much lower cost. So that's what the calculations are based on. Yes, sir.
Terry, my name is Scott. These are all elected officials or city employees. I'm a citizen. I love efficiency.
Yeah.
The best watt is a watt you don't burn.
Yeah.
How much has the city spent to save 1.2 million?
So, I don't know that I I guess we can go back to the original project cost, which was, I don't know, we don't want to quote anything, but
We're saying approximately $4 million. It's not written in
Yep.
stone.
Yep.
But we're paying $500,000 a year for 20 years for that, which comes out to $10 million.
So that's where we, as a team, need to find out exactly what you're paying and how much.
So if it
So I
was,
don't know if you're paying
if it was a $4 million project,
It's not, you're not paying $500,000 a year, there's no way.
if it was a $4 million project, then we must have financed it if we have an ongoing multi-$100,000 bill.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's whatever finance guys. So every single, like I said, every project is unique to that client, how they fund it. But typically, in all the 25 years I've been doing it, I've only had a few that actually paid cash, and they had the fund balance. So yeah, to your point, every single time.
My understanding from the mayor is that we're sending you guys
No,
$1 million a year.
no.
Is that
So
right?
on all of our projects, we are paid like any other partner. We're paid up front, so we don't get it's complete milestones, right? As the project's completed, we don't get all the money up front. We have to close it out 100%, but no, we're paid in full on project completion.
Many people that put in solar tend to be pretty geeky about it and have their own dashboard or control center to be able to
Yeah.
monitor it. Does
yeah.
the city have a dashboard or control center where they can monitor not just the solar, but the upgraded HVAC controls of these buildings?
So that HVAC controls and that are two different systems.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that with HVAC, it costs a lot of money, but I don't know what HVAC system they install. But the solar, it'd be disappointing if you don't. I think you do, find out for sure. I mean, do you guys know if you have that?
Pardon?
Your solar display, like a dashboard, where you can go and look at what's been generated, how the panels, typically there's like a.
No, we don't have that.
You don't have.
Part of the problem here is that the former administration signed this contract. These are, we've got new
Yeah.
faces here.
And I wasn't involved.
And everybody's trying to get up to speed.
Right, none of us were, well, a couple people, but that's it, yeah. No, I think this is good, I'll find that out. Again, what's really nice is having Mike Johnson, the engineer that was involved on the project.
And last thing,
Yeah.
for me, I'm a little confused that when I pay for a project,
Yeah.
why do we have a 20-year contract? Why is this ongoing so long? I understand there's a $7,000 a year thing that is optional. But why does this go on so long? Once you paint the roof white, once you upgrade your HVAC, once you go to LEDs, what are we doing? We've made the changes.
Yeah, you don't have a contract. So our contractual agreement to you, obligation to you right now, is any energy savings performance contract is to come back and measure and verify. That's our contract and agreement.
That's
So that's the $7,000, that's our contract.
Okay.
We've been done for 2 years, contract.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. So I've got a few action items, happy to do it, get some answers, find out what's going on with the solar. looking at measuring, monitoring plan, maintenance plan, closeout material. If you guys don't have it, don't worry about it.
Hey, Terry?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let me just go through my pages here real quick on any notes.
Yep.
All right. For action items.
All right.
And if anybody else wants any type of, information from Terry, ask him now, and he can put it down on his action notes. So you're gonna get back to us with a proposal for maintenance checks on the solar panels?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
That's one.
and then you're gonna get a clean definition for this measured savings and non-measured
Yeah.
operational savings
Yeah.
and total verified savings,
Absolutely.
right?
Correct.
Okay, and,
Closeout document.
pardon?
Closeout document to confirm scope of all the scope of work that was done, if there was anything not done, and why it wasn't done. if it was-
Yeah, and also, as the mayor asked, and we talked about earlier, about that GPS system, why it wasn't implemented.
And that's at the fleet management.
Yeah, fleet
Yeah.
management, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Who's responsible for what? Okay.
Yep.
That's probably what the answer will be anyway.
All right.
And I would add, any warranties that are included, like with the solar
Yeah, that's-
panels and the inverters.
Absolutely. So that'll all be in that closeout.
An inverter should have at least a 5-year warranty on an inverter.
Yeah, I mean, they're always, roofs, they're always been pushed back, but absolutely, right? And we like to, what we do is, we carry a lot of clout, man, so we like to continue to add value, not just for that project. We haven't done $1 billion in multi-phase projects for no reason. Our clients trust us 13 phases because we do stuff like that. Contractor's not gonna do that for you. So,
And then if you, and council members, if you want this, if you want it in paper form, or if you want it email electronically,
Electronically.
copies of the original contract. Do you want that?
Yeah,
Electronically.
I don't need those things.
Okay.
Yeah, you have it, you want me to get that to you?
You give it to me.
Oh, you
and
guys,
I'll get it to the council.
you guys had one, or no?
Pardon?
Do you guys have one on file now?
Well, there should be one in the controller's office, I
Oh.
believe.
Alright,
Yeah,
so,
but anyway,
alright.
we'll get it to them.
I guess this is not a question but a comment.
Yeah.
We might have asked you all kinds of basic questions, but we are new to this, okay, so I
No,
won't have this.
no, this is, like I said, I've been doing this for 25 years, and I'll tell you, there's some clients that I work with, we're going 6 different lunches before they finally say, wow, you do that?
We could have lunch.
Yeah. Well, donuts. Donuts, I always bring donuts to meetings.
Breakfast, no thank you. Lunch, please.
Hey, Don,
Protein.
one thing on your parking lot lighting removal at the senior center
Mhm.
to save energy, was that just too much illumination at the parking lot at the senior center?
Yeah, and what that was, I don't know if that was so much in this project, but I had been working with the park department, because they had like 35 streetlights in that parking lot, and we cut it down to like,
Half of that.
I don't know, 18. So it
And I have
was,
one comment on that. Around that time, 5-6 years ago, there was a movement to lower the amount of light
Yes.
around the lake,
yeah,
so that everybody can see the stars and things
Yeah.
like that. So
The birds and stuff, yeah, that's true.
so maybe
it
that
was
was
crazy, it was
Bird
really
migration.
silly.
Yeah, it sounds like it was really lit up. Took out that, but it still seems pretty well lit. Parking lot there.
It's a lot of migration.
So, anyway,
All right.
any other questions?
No.
Anything? Tim, you got anything that you want?
If something comes up, you've done, just add it to the list, no big deal.
Yeah,
Had to do it, man.
yeah.
Thank
And,
you.
Thank you very much for your time, I appreciate it. Good questions, very good questions.
Thanks.
Thank you.
all right, Terry.
Sorry I didn't have all the answers, but you know what, it won't take long, so we'll get to the bottom of everything.
Yeah, and if, we need to bring Terry back again, he's close by.
I'm
But
all
three-
of
three
that.
Oaks?
Oh, 20-minute ride, yeah.
3 Oaks.
Right, yeah.
That's open, and he's got a bar opened up too, it's called Barn. She told me that tonight.
It's called what?
My wife,
Called the barn dog.
Okay.
my wife, that's her retirement now. And we've been only working at it for 4 years, so.
Literally?
And it's already 7:30 for you then.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Terry. I
Oh, you guys
appreciate
take
it,
it for your time, I really appreciate all the questions and everything, thank you so much.
I hope this helped, the council and Tim. You good? You good? Thank you. All right.
Look what I got.